This is Robert Kraft, and I am your host on SNN.Network, and we are a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit virtual investor conference. We're in our virtual Beaver Creek. We're pretending, me and Peter are pretending right now that we're on the slopes and enjoying Beaver Creek, and also while doing an interview. So joining me today is Peter Gianulis. He is the CEO of Allegiant Gold. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you: AUAU on the TSX Venture and AUXXF on the OTCQX. Peter, thank you for joining me today.
Robert, pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So this is our first time doing an interview together, and as is tradition here, I'd love to get an overview and history of the company, and then I'll have a few follow-ups from there.
Yeah, I'll give you an overview first, and then I'll give you some history on the company. Allegiant Gold is a US-based and focused company developing our flagship project, Eastside, which is a 1.1 million ounce gold oxide resource about 30 miles northwest of the town of Tonopah, Nevada. Excellent infrastructure and a great jurisdiction. We also own 100% of 8 other additional projects in Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. 2 of them have been farmed out. Our philosophy in the company can be summed up, and it's also on our website, can be summed up based on 5 main principles. One is focus. Focus in that we are a junior exploration company, maybe a little bit more advanced stage than other junior exploration companies, but we even ourselves need to focus on that primary project. And if you're further advanced, maybe you could choose 2 of your projects. So we do focus on Eastside, where it receives almost all of our effort and energy and capital. The second is expenses. I'm a firm believer that since generally exploration companies don't have revenues, you've got to watch the spending, and I mean spending primarily in G&A. The third, tied to number 2, is cash flow. So we have the luxury of having some farm outs and having the ability to do further farm outs, which generates cash or share positions for us in other companies. And it's been extremely lucrative for us over the past few years, and really has allowed us to keep our share count down. And that's the fourth principle, which is dilution. Prior to doing this most recent financing, our share count had not changed in over 2 years. Our goal as a company is to be cash flow positive or cash flow neutral ex exploration. So therefore, we don't have to be forced to dilute our shareholders, of which we are significant ones, to pay G&A and keep the lights on. And then the fifth principle is skin in the game. And I don't mean skin in the game by receiving 0.2 cent shares like many junior exploration Canadian companies do, and then do an RTO. Fortunately, all of our shares that management has been bought in the open market at prices significantly higher than what I just stated. We have been buyers, we eat our own cooking, and we are out there. A little bit about the history of the company. Allegiant really actually goes back to 2006, or about 14 years ago, under the company Columbus Gold, which is now called Aurea Mining. During that time, Columbus acquired their flagship project, which is Montendor in French Guiana. They recently changed their name to Aurea. Eastside, which was their main project in the United States, was discovered in late 2015 and early 2016 with a maiden resource. And that was part of what is now called Allegiant, and it was spun out in 2017. I've been on the board of Allegiant and Columbus at that time for the past 11 years. I've been involved in acquiring most of these projects, so I know them intimately well, and have been involved in the natural resource industry for about 23 years on the board of many companies as an advisor, as a fund manager, and as also part of management. So that's a little bit quick of history as well as of an overview of Allegiant.
So then what would you say makes Allegiant unique and different compared to some of your peers out there?
Well, there's a lot of junior exploration companies, and there's some really good ones out there. I think there's 3 things that make us stand out versus the overwhelming majority of them. One is that finding gold is not necessarily difficult. Finding a gold deposit which will become an economic deposit or a mine is very difficult. So when you invest in junior exploration companies, I think starting off with a company that has already an existing resource as opposed to good drill results is a very good first step. So Allegiant, what makes us different? The first thing is that we are a company that has one of the few that actually has over a 1 million ounce oxide resource in Nevada, with the capability of actually growing it significantly larger. And that we need to do that. Our job over the next year, 2 and 3 years is to continually to grow that resource out. The second aspect is jurisdiction. Nevada is ranked number 1 or 2, depending on what year in the Fraser Institute ranking of mining jurisdictions. I think jurisdiction is actually maybe the single most important thing over the next 5 years. Now, I spent most of my career in the Americas and Latin America, and also working on projects in Africa. I never had ranked jurisdiction as a number 1 or 2 aspect. It would always have been grade and geology over that. I will say that I have changed a little bit my tune, primarily because of the economic malaise that's ensuing, and I think will get worse over the next 3 to 5 years, particularly in fringe economies such as Latin America and Africa, where the fiscal situation is pretty dire, and they will look for ways to increase revenues for the government. And generally, mining is a really nice and easy target to get additional capital from, making those projects not very economical. And then the third thing I think that differentiates us is something I alluded to prior, which is share ownership. Management and insiders have been aggressive buyers of the stock in the open market. Almost all of our position that we've received, if not all of it, has happened in the open market transaction. So I think those 3 things make us a little bit different. Obviously, our Eastside project stands out, and the fact that we're in Nevada, and the fact that we have multiple projects. And I would say the fourth thing that we stand out is that we are and have been cash flow neutral this year without having to do exploration. So we don't necessarily need to dilute our shareholders to pay those bills. So it's rare to find a junior exploration company that's almost break even in terms of cash flow.
And then, Peter, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now moving forward?
Yeah, over the past 2 years, Allegiant has been relatively quiet. It's something that I alluded to earlier about dilution. The market wasn't conducive for drilling and for exploration companies. It essentially didn't pay to spend money. You weren't being rewarded. You would have great news, and investors, your current investors, would use that time to dump the stock because it was liquidity. I believe that the environment has changed, and henceforth our thought has changed, and therefore we're advancing our project. We have 3 main catalysts coming up, and this will be one of the busiest period in the history of Allegiant coming up over the next 12 months. The first thing is Bolo. So our 100% owned Bolo project is being drilled by New Placer Gold Mining, which used to be called Berrien Mining. We did a farm out with them a few years ago. They spent $500,000 last year drilling 1,800 meters. This year they have an aggressive campaign of anywhere between 3,500 meters. I do believe it's actually going to be more than 3,500 meters. It is a discovery we made in 2016 and 17, but it isn't our flagship project, and henceforth we farmed it out. It's been a great deal. It's been a great partnership with New Placer Dome, and we're very excited that they will be working that. And they've already started drilling, or about to start drilling. So we'll start getting a lot of results coming in August and September. Eastside is our flagship project. We are initiating our geophysics campaign next week. We'll be starting drilling in the next 7 to 8 weeks, essentially at Eastside, and we'll be drilling our south target, which is called the Castle Zone, which will allow us to bring that historical resource, which is approximately 270,000 ounces, into an NI 4310 resource that we will combine with our 1.1 million ounce target resource up in the original pit zone. We're going to be drilling about 13 to 15,000 meters at Eastside. So we'll have anywhere between 60 and 90 drill results coming out starting in October all the way up to probably February. And then that will culminate in an updated resource estimate as well as a PEA. And then the third aspect is farm outs. We have been getting, because of the positive nature of the gold and silver market, we have 2 silver projects. We've been receiving significant amount of interest on both of our silver projects, as well as some of their other gold projects. So I would look, from an investor perspective, for us to announce other farm outs coming out which is very beneficial for us because every farm out that we do, we ask for three main components. One is a cash or a payment, whether that's cash and shares. The second is a work program. And then the third is our ability to retain an interest in those projects going forward.
And with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about Allegiant Gold?
Well, there's a few ways. The first, and I think the best way, is subscribing to our newsletter and email updates at AllegiantGold.com. Go to the top of the website. You'll find a subscribe button or a sign up button, and I would highly recommend, and we try to communicate with our investors. The second way is we have our Twitter account, which we've become a little bit more active under Allegiant Gold. We're trying to continuously evolve as well and provide information. And the third way is write me directly, peter@allegiantgold.com. I answer every single email, and and if investors prefer, they can call me up directly. And so email me, and then we can schedule a call, or I can call you back. And I think that's the best way. I'm a big believer in communication, and henceforth, anyone that wants to find more information about Allegiant, those are the three best ways. I would highly recommend, and I can't stress this enough, highly recommend that the investors go to our website, under investors, pull down the most recent presentation. We've tried to consolidate it into a very concise presentation as opposed to this geological presentation of 40, 50 slides. We try to keep it under 20. I think we did a pretty good job there. But the first two slides are the most important. It is, what is our philosophy and what is our thesis? And I think all investors need to ask every management, whether it's Allegiant or someone else, you need to ask those questions.
So now the most important question that I have for you is, who are those jerseys behind you right there?
Well, that is the national team of Colombia right there.
Ah, okay.
And that's a club called, what is that called? Actually, that is Aston Villa. Well, maybe not. It's a very good question. I don't know that. Monaco, I think.
Got it. Oh, that's really cool. All right, I had to ask. I mean, look, we're doing this virtually. We got to know what's going on behind you.
Many years in Colombia, working on different types of projects. So I've collected, and you're only seeing part. I probably have 25 different jerseys hanging out here.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, the next update we're instead of getting the company update, we're gonna do a full 360 view of the room. All right. I think people want to know.
I'm a soccer fan, so I've collected jerseys my whole life.
Awesome. Well, with that, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, Peter, taking the time, and wish you the best of luck. Stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Robert, appreciate it. It's been great.
Thank you. This has been Robert Kraft, host of SNN.Network, and we are the media sponsor for the Precious Metals Summit Virtual Investor Conference in Beaver Creek. Look forward to seeing you all there, and thank you again.